Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good afternoon, Facebook family, and welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post, a.k.a. My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. My Mimi has started calling me Bennett lately. Hope you guys are doing fantastic on this magnificent Monday. You may can't see my hair. It's like standing up everywhere. It is so windy here in Crescent City. I mean, windy. It was so windy yesterday, couldn't even go down on the beach. Actually went down there for a little bit today. Still super windy. Sand blowing everywhere, but it is still an amazing blessing. I hope you guys are doing good. So, topic of today that we're going to be talking about is, why is it so Datgum challenging? Hello, Ashley Marie Torres. That's me, Mimi. Why is it so Datgum? Why raising adopted children can be so Datgum challenging? I don't know where that word Datgum came from, but my dad used to say that. Datgummit? Datgum, what does that mean? Is that a different language? Is that like a Vietnamese language or something? Because he was in Vietnam, so maybe he picked up a couple words. Datgummit, that's what he used to always say. So why raising adopted children is so datgum challenging? I'm going to give you guys a metaphor for that. I just went through before I do that, I just went through the line at Starbucks. And the lady said, "Hey, I've been following you online." And then she said, "You're a preacher, aren't you?" It was Julie at Starbucks. I said, "Nope, not a preacher. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a preacher. Sometimes I'm a preacher, but because I get on my pulpit, but not a preacher." Oh, and I got to tell you guys that I got pulled over again. I was going to actually make it its own title and topic, but I decided not to because I want to kind of keep the officer's identity protected in case there's any kind of flack for when cops do really nice things for people. But yeah, I got pulled over Sunday. What's today? Monday. Sunday, was that? Yes, yesterday I got pulled over. Cruising down the highway way too fast, but it wasn't like intentionally speeding. I was just, the wind was blowing, pulled me over, and I'm like, oh, shoot. Because I actually got pulled over Saturday morning too. Oh. It was early Saturday morning, so I had a really good excuse because it was early. Had one of my kiddos with me, and we were just trying to get back because we had taken our friend Uncle Ed to the airport and dropped him off, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. And she wasn't feeling good. She got car sick, so I was just buzzing along, and he actually, it just pays to be really nice and be really respectful. And he dropped the ticket to only 10 miles per hour over, which is cool. Won't go on my record. Second time since I've been here that I've had that happen. So anyway, I got pulled over again on Sunday. Why, Brian? Why must you speed so much? Lack of mindfulness is all it is. There is no excuse. So he comes up. I said, "Hey, officer, how are you doing today?" And he said, "Did you realize you were speeding?" I said, "No, sir, I did not." He said, "Well, I caught you going 81 in a 65. And I was like, "Ooh, it must have been the wind. It's so windy." He said, "Does the wind make you drive faster?" I said, "Of course it does. It pushes my little car." And so he kind of giggled. He said, "Are you Mr. Post?" I said, "I am." "Yes, sir." I said, "Have you pulled me over before?" I thought maybe he had like pulled me over before since I've been here, because I didn't recognize it. Because sometimes I'll be like there's one cop who's pulled me over twice, and so I know I'm like very familiar with him now. So I'm always looking. And so then he pulled over Brett one day when me and Brett were heading out of town. And so I was like, it wasn't me this time. So, I try to keep it light, try to keep it friendly. And I think he might have knocked a point or two off of Brett. But Brett was all anxious. So it's not the same energy. You really got to control your energy. So he said no, he hadn't pulled me over, but he follows me on Facebook. So officer, thank you very much for letting me off the hook, and I am committed to doing better. I have challenged the speeding gods throughout my life for far too long, and now I'm going to become a better speed limit abiding citizen, which is going to give me an opportunity to practice both mindfulness and patience also. And it's not that I'm speeding because I need to get anywhere. It's like wherever it is I'm going, I just want to get there. And people drive too slow, I think. But anyway, they drive the speed limit. Hey, Jason, I really appreciate your lives. Thank you. I'm glad you are able to tune in. So I'm going to do better with that speeding thing. So anyway, what's the metaphor? So since I'm here on the coast, I think about the water a lot. And I was actually talking to a mom about this today. And we were talking about her relationship, the challenges she has with her adopted child, but also it's like the mom is challenged with her own emotional connection. And I said, the difference between an adopted child and a biological child is like the ocean. With a biological child, you're actually filling up the ocean from the bottom up. So with your adopted children, you start with the ground. You start with the foundation. Now, underneath that foundation are all the generations and all the history that come before all of us. But that's the background. But by and large, as a parent with your adopted children, you start from the base of the sea floor. And you guys know, you've seen National Geographic and everything enough times. Hello, Carrie. That you know that actually there are some fantastic wildlife shows on Netflix right now. One's called Our Planet, and I'm telling you, the cinematography is next level kind of stuff. The colors are brilliant. They're amazing. I really encourage you, as just this interesting little evening for an hour or so, get your kids to sit down and hang out and just watch one of those. You can call that homeschool. It's a great little learning activity, but it's just beautiful. They're doing a fantastic job. But all of you at some point in time know that at the, the base of the seafloor, the base of the ocean is vastly undiscovered. It's so far down there, and it gets so dark and it gets so cold. And because of the pressure that gets created, the further you go in the ocean, it really doesn't allow average ordinary people to get too far. And so there's all kinds of things that happen on that base of that ocean floor. Well, raising your biological children, you start out, it's like you're filling that tank up. You're filling the ocean up, the ocean of their memories, the ocean of their experiences, the ocean of everything that they are and will be and may ever be. You're filling it up from the very bottom, from a blank slate, a tabula rasa, and you're just filling it up until you get all the way up to the top layer of the ocean where all the waves and the sun shining and all that good stuff. Well, as a biological parent, you know your child by and large, and the parts of them that you don't know really are because they, maybe start hitting a certain stage in development and you don't talk that much, you're not as connected as much. But with adopted children, the difference from biological children and the reason it can be so Datgum challenging is with adopted children, you as a parent are starting on the surface. You're starting on the surface and you have to go down, 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 yet down, and down some more, further down, to reach the core of your child. And so how many times, now think about that. Think about that metaphorically, just how challenging it is and how scary it would be. Me personally, I get a little freaked out when it comes to being in the ocean because Mimi terrified me by letting me watch Jaws when I was a kid. So when I get in the ocean, first thing I'm thinking about is a freaking shark. Now I'll jump in there and I'll, do a little snorkeling or whatever. But let me tell you, I'm looking for a shark. Thank you so much, Mimi, for that early life trauma. But think about this for a minute, really. You're going down, 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 down. When do you as the adoptive parent start to get scared? Not even, it doesn't have anything to do with your adopted child. How far do you get down before you start getting scared because it gets too dark, because the pressure gets too hard, because it gets too stressful, because you start to hit the unknown, because you start to get into your own anxiety, because you know what? The further down you go towards your adopted child's core, the farther down you're going to be going in your own brainstem, in your own memories, in your own experiences. So you guys are literally, swimming together. And this particular situation with this parent, I said to her, your daughter who's 13 spends a lot of time outside of her body, just kind of floating around. So the interactions with her, she always kind of has this glossy kind of happy look. And Mom said, that's so true. And I said, but the problem is you've got so much anxiety, which I believe comes from Mom's pre-verbal experiences and in utero experience. I said, you spend a lot of time outside of your body, intellectualizing, and both of you getting in your bodies is not a very safe place. But see, relationship and real connection, love is emotional. See, that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions that's been perpetuated in mental health is this idea that family dynamics and communication patterns and interaction patterns are cognitively based. Like you can talk yourself into these deeper patterns, and the reality is that's not true. They're actually emotionally based. So all of this parenting stuff we talk about and all this interaction, this marital stuff we may talk about, all of that is rooted in emotion, which requires you to have to get into your body. And some of the biggest challenges parents have with adopted children is they just can't reach their core, because getting to the core of their being, the emotional core of their being, is just so challenging. And it's just so stressful. But one of the easiest ways, and when I say easy, it's simple. Well, I say simple. It should say not easy. One of the simplest ways, but not easy. Because I always say this work is very simple. It's just not easy. One of the simplest ways that you all have at your disposal is affection. More affection, more affection, more affection, more affection. And Mom said today, just like is reflected by so many parents, the angrier I get, the more frustrated I get, the more stressed I get, the less affection I want to give, the less affection I want to share. Exactly. And if you want to share, if you're that more uninclined to be affectionate and be connected, imagine where your child is. You can't reach her. So there's this mom swimming down, but she's only swimming down as far as she's comfortable before she's floating down there investigating, trying to go back up. And then the daughter, she's down here in the dark, even though Mom can connect and they can have some interactions up here. It's not fulfilling. It's not really connected. So the daughter's really down here in the dark. And for Mom to really connect with this child in a way that she's not fighting with her for the next 5 years, is you're gonna have to get in that dark. But that doesn't have to be as difficult as it may sound. You have to be able to do some of those simple, you have to be willing to engage the discomfort of some of those simple things. And I'm telling you, the most simple things that keep us in relationship, that help create more relationship and strengthen relationship, the most simple things are the things that are oftentimes the hardest to do. Spending time together, making eye contact, having snuggles, hugs, serving. When I say serving, I mean doing things to take care of your child, to connect with your child. I work with a lot of families who have a lot of kids, And inevitably, and this is not always the case, because some of my families have a lot of kids or do really well. They still struggle, like every family struggles, but inevitably, when you've got a lot of kids and maybe there's only one parent who has to meet all of those needs, it's just so difficult and so challenging to continually have to come outside of yourself and serve your children, especially if you have one child that continues to just show up as a challenge. And then we get so overwhelmed, and before we know it, we get into these conditioned patterns. And you really, as the parent, this is when you have to stop and you have to slow down the most. When you have to slow down, you got to get quiet. See, a lot of times we just move too fast. We get stressed out. We want to do. And we go we want to do so much and get so much done. When you are operating in a lot of stress, the best thing for you is to slow down and slow down and breathe. Slow the vibration down. Doesn't necessarily mean that you get less done, because a lot of times we try to get more done than what we need to, and we're not thinking clearly, just create more chaos. But you got to slow down and connect, hug, have affection, serve your child, offer to feed them, ask them to come to the store with you, do time in instead of time out. Get more attuned. When you're stressed, you can't be attuned. When you're stressed, you're not really attuned to where your child is, and attunement is the language. It is the language and the music through which parents and children dance and enter in reciprocal exchanges. And that's that with a biological child. When they move in your belly, see, think about this. With your biological child, they move in your belly. You're already getting connected and attuned. With your adopted child, a child comes to you at 13 years old. Jeez, think about how many signals and opportunities you've missed. And then, there's obviously grief that's tied in there, and it's important too. But I just want you guys to think about that metaphor. Deanna says, I have a 17-year-old son we have raised since 15 months. The adopted 13-year-old has been with us since 7, and an 8-year-old since age 3. Each bond is drastically different. They are indeed. Some children, you just never know what that bottom of that ocean is for some of those children. See, some of those children, that bottom of that ocean has been fractured by an earthquake. The platelets have shifted, and so there's even a depth underneath that surface that you don't know. Some of those children, that conception to 9 months, and then everything that surrounds that conception, some of those children have really good, secure sea floors, ocean floors, and so when they come into your life, then their ocean floor is more secure, more stable. So from that ocean floor, they can jump up and maybe even reach you through some of that dark and through some of that cold, and you don't always have to swim down so far. And I think that's what happens in biological families a great deal of the time as well. So just wanted to share that metaphor with you guys. I hope you have a fantastic Monday. Remember, in any given situation, you always have two choices. You can continue to react from your same blueprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm, or you can stop, you can slow down. Just slow down. You don't always have to speak what's on your mind. You don't always have to correct your child. You don't always have to tell them they could have done something better. You don't always have to yell at them. If you got siblings, you don't always have to yell at them when they're fussing and fighting. You don't even have to yell and get upset when they hit one another. Sometimes the best thing for you to do is just to get quiet. Slow down. Take your 3 to 10 deep breaths. And choose love, and I hope you guys will choose love. God bless you. Big Papa loves you, and I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Mañana.